Affirmative action policies will remain in place at American colleges and universities after the Supreme Court sent a challenge to the policy back to the lower court. It's the start of what's expected to be a big week for the court, which is still due to release opinions on 3 major cases. Steve Genevieve is live outside the court with what we can expect. Steve.
Well, Candace, the court has issued 10 opinions in the last week, with 6 more still to go, including a couple of high-profile ones. Now, today, we heard the court's opinion on affirmative action, but it wasn't the big splash that a lot of people thought it would be. It also wasn't the only major case bringing people to court today. Chris Perry and Sandy Steer walk hand in hand into the Supreme Court this morning. Plaintiffs in California's ban on same-sex marriage case, they were hoping the court would rule on Proposition 8 today. It did not.
It's going to be a long week. We're hoping that the justices don't pile up all the major opinions on one day. We still have 2 or 3 major cases to come down, but it could really drag out for the rest of the week. 2 of those major cases involved same-sex marriage. They drew huge crowds when they were argued earlier this year. The 3rd case involves voters' rights in the South. An opinion on a 4th high-profile case came down today, sort of, as the justices did not make a definitive ruling on affirmative action, sending the case back to a lower court.
It basically says affirmative action is still the law of the land, but when you use it, you got to use it in a good legal way.
In a 7-to-1 ruling, the justices determined the case involving admissions at the University of Texas needed more review, avoiding tackling the more widespread constitutional question of affirmative action.
Today it's clear it is still legal. The only question is, how? What standards have to be met in order to satisfy constitutional muster?
The issue of affirmative action won't be argued at the Supreme Court again until next year. The court is scheduled to wrap up this session this week, after handing down its opinions on same-sex marriage and voters' rights. Now, the court had initially only planned to issue opinions today and on Thursday, but the justices today decided that they will add a date tomorrow and offer more opinions starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we're expecting to see more and more people both in and outside of the court as we get closer to the end of the session. Live at the Supreme Court, Steve Genevieve, ABC 7 News.